Alrighty. So I had a little trouble there for a second. I couldn't go live with this video because my phone was giving me a hard time. But we're up and running now. I was just over on Instagram and I was doing a live stream of video for the A-Tactical A1. And I couldn't think of anything else to do. And then I looked at my list of stuff that I had that I was supposed to be getting done, and it's 1:30 in the morning. I was trying to come up with something that wasn't all too intellectual, because the highly intellectual stuff I got to take notes on and put up on the whiteboard, I need to make sure that is right, and that I get the technical stuff right, otherwise everyone will tell me about it. A lot of that I still have to do, but then I noticed multi-tools. Carrying a multi-tool as a cop or a security guard, or just as an everyday person, really. Most of my experience is from carrying them as an everyday guy, and carrying them camping and with the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. So today, we are going to do multi-tools for police and security is how it's going to be titled, but realistically, it's going to be for everybody, because I think a lot of this stuff plays for just about everyone. So, without further ado, if you guys aren't over on the Instagram, you should be, because I do this all the time with people on Instagram. I do Instagram lives of my videos. Here's my setup. I have studio lights on either side. I'm in my garage. You can see how messy it is. There's the whiteboard. Here's the table. And the fake table I put on top is called a handy board. The handy board is just a piece of press board with a laminate, and there's a darker color laminate on the other side. So when you see, like, looks like I've got multiple different tables, most of it's just handy boards that I go buy. These are like $5. They're pretty cheap. And this is my camera. I've got a Canon Rebel T6i with a screen that flips around so that I can see in the screen what the video is going to be. So you see my hand right there talking about the different multi-tools. And then there's the Rode microphone that I got for it. I don't have, well, I shouldn't say I don't have set up the clicker that turns it on and off to start videotaping and stop videotaping, which I should probably get, because that would save me a lot of reaching over the table, but what are you going to do? I'm old and not real tech savvy. And I got my fan down here because it's kind of hot in the garage, but I try not to videotape on there with the fan on. It's just one more thing to try to edit out later. So we're going to kill the fan. Don't freak out. I'm not having a seizure if you see me pause at any point in the video. One of the great things about desktop, these tabletop type videos, is that I can pause and then cut the video together as long as I don't move my hands too much or move the product too much, or the subject too much, and it doesn't look too terrible. If people are watching on their phone, they can't really tell what's going on with it. You'd be surprised how many cuts you probably never noticed. If you've noticed the cuts in the videos now, you'd be surprised how many are in there before that I've edited out, and people really can't tell that they're in there. So we're going to start it up. Turn it on. All right, today on Free Field Training, we're going to talk about multi-tools for police and security work. Although I'm coming at this from a police and security standpoint, this pretty well applies. I'm going to try that. That one sounded like crap. All right, today on Free Field Training, we're going to talk about multi-tools for police and security work, but a lot of this is going to play for everyday life too. Most of my experience with multi-tools is from camping and from working with the Scouts, and some of it comes from police work. I've used all of these at different times for police work and for camping and for my everyday carry, and I've kind of narrowed it down to these three that I use for everything. I know I'm one of those weird people that has three different multi-tools that they rotate out depending on what they're doing, but there's some good reasons for them, and because of those good reasons, you might choose something different to use if you're a police officer or a security guard than what I use. So I'm going to start off with the one that I started off with way back in the day. It's actually not in production anymore, but it is a multi-tool that I started using a long time ago. This is the original style of Leatherman multi-tool. Bring you guys in so you can see a little easier. This particular one is called the Leatherman Side Clip. As you can see, it's got a little clip there on the side, and it's rather thin. That's the other side. Leatherman makes a bunch of multi-tools that are just like this nowadays. Most of them aren't this thin, but you can find something that's going to fit in about the same category. Now the side clip, being the traditional style of multi-tool, is one where you open it up kind of like a butterfly knife, and you get pliers, and then all of the tools after you open it up are on the inside. So if you want to do anything with this thing, you have to open the tool up, and then you can get inside to your knife or your can opener or your screwdrivers or whatever else that are inside. Now, I still use this particular multi-tool because it's very thin and it's light, and the pocket clip makes it convenient to use for everyday carry. I can just slide this into a pocket, and what I do with it now is I slide it into the top pocket on my jacket, and I can carry this around. I can always have a pair of pliers and a nice sharp knife with me, and a bottle opener and a can opener and some basic screwdrivers and stuff. So this is my everyday carry multi-tool and the type that I first started off with. Now moving on from there, it became evident with scouting and with camping, and this is the multi-tool that I use for camping the most, that the thing I use most when I'm camping, because I'm going to carry a multi-tool and a separate pocket knife, is the pliers. Pliers are really useful for camping for picking up hot things off of a fire, like a pot. You can grab the handle of the pot and lift them up with the pliers, the multi-tool. And all of the stuff that's inside is kind of secondary to that. And when you're opening up the stuff from inside, it's because you're fixing something you normally have both hands to do it with. Whereas with the pliers, if I've got a tent and I'm trying to untie a knot and I'm holding the tent up and trying to untie the knot, I need the pliers to get the rope untied. Or if I'm trying to cook and I've got a spoon in one hand and I'm trying to lift the pot up while I'm stirring to move it somewhere else on the fire, or I'm trying to do more than one thing at once, being able to open the pliers up with one hand is really important, and being able to get the pliers out and use them and put them away is important. So with this multi-tool, this is a Gerber 600 series multi-tool, and it comes with a little pouch. So you put the pouch on your belt and you slide it in. You imagine if pliers were the important need that you had at work, you could slide this onto most duty belts. It comes with a pretty big area in the back of webbing, and you can rip this stitch down here and make an even larger area where you can slide this on any type of belt. So you take the plier off of out of your pouch and snap your wrist, and the pliers open. And then when you do something, and then when the pliers close, you just push these little buttons in on both sides of the pliers. See them here and here. You push them simultaneously, and the pliers close up, and you can put them back in your pouch. So it's good for one-handed opening and closing of the pliers. Now, for police work, I found that the least useful thing is the pliers, and if I need pliers, I'm normally going to have time in both hands because I'm fixing something around the car or fiddling with something downstairs in the basement. I have plenty of time to get the pliers out, so I don't need the pliers in a hurry. And with these, you still have to go in, you have to open the pliers up and then open them up in order to get all the components out of the inside. So you've got like files and scissors and stuff like that, and a nice sharp knife that you can keep sharp. And then this one, the reason I have this particular multi-tool is because it has a little area where you can put a saw, or like I have a little Remgrit blade on there. And I really like this when I was working building maintenance at a scout camp. This came in really handy because you could cut PVC pipe and stuff with this without having to go back to the shop and get a pipe cutter. Take a little break. For police work, though, what I need most is the tools on the outside of a multi-tool. I carry a pocket knife when I'm on duty. I'm still carrying the Lake City Thunderbolt from CRK2, the Thunderbolt 2. But if I need any other tool, any other of the major tools, I want to be able to get to them with the multi-tool closed. Because I keep this multi-tool, this is a Leatherman Wave. I keep this in the top right breast pocket of my vest carrier when I'm at work. So the reason I use this is I've got all the time in the world to get the pliers open, so it being a traditional opening multi-tool doesn't bother me. But all of the big tools that I might need to hurry are on the outside. So I've got, on the outside here, I've got a sheep's foot blade with a serrated edge on it to use as a rescue cutter if I have to. And there's some jimping on the back of this blade so that from the outside I can feel the difference between this one, which is my sharp straight edge blade right there that I can use for little tiny tasks. And then on this side, I have a sheep's foot blade right there, and I can tell from the jimping. All the blades lock on the outside, so it works just like a lock back pocket knife with all these. And it's got not only the standard blade and the sheep's foot blade, but it also has a little saw, which I really haven't found a whole lot of use for with police work, but it has a file, which can be very helpful for things around the car. And this actually works pretty well for jimmying doors. I can get this inside the door of an apartment building and pop the lock open without having to break anything when I need to get inside an apartment building, and no one will wake up at 3 a.m. And then on the inside, it has all of the little maintenance stuff that you'd expect from a multi-tool. This one's got a Phillips head bit that is switch-aroundable. You see right there. It's got a Phillips and a flathead bit on there, so I can get the flathead bit if I want to, or a Phillips head bit. I normally leave it at Phillips head because this one's got another flathead. And it's got a can opener, which I don't use so much at police work, but for camping and stuff it's nice. And then on the other side, it's got scissors, which are really great for really fine work and also trimming my nails, which realistically is the use I use it for police work. Sit in the car on midnights and trim my nails. And then it has a little tiny, really tiny, I'll show you that, screwdriver there that allows you to take care of glasses. This one flips around. So there's a Phillips head on one side. I don't know if you can even see that. And then a flat head on the other side. So if somebody's glasses get messed up at work or they get loose, you can flip it around. You can help them fix their glasses, which is really helpful for people, especially in the middle. In the middle of the night, it's hard to get help with anything. And then there's a bigger flathead screwdriver. That's another one that's good for getting in apartment buildings at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when no one wants to answer the door. So those are just kind of the considerations for multi-tools. Camping, pliers out in a hurry, police work, the exterior blades out in a hurry, and then for everyday carry, light and tight. I've thought about going to Leatherman Waves for everything. My problem is that this is about a $90 multi-tool. This is an $89 multi-tool. And these, you can find something equivalent to this for 30 or 40 bucks. So I really don't want to invest the money into switching them all out. But I like this one so much that when my original Leatherman Wave started getting a little long in the tooth and the blades started to get to the point where I couldn't fix them anymore because I had used them so much, I went and bought another one. That's how much I like that one for police, where you can kind of see what's left of my sheep's foot blade on my old one. So if you wonder how well do these wear, how much time you can get out of them, I get about 6-7 years out of one of these with pretty heavy use. And I'm sure people are going to say, oh, well, Leatherman will honor their warranty, and here's what the screwdriver looks like, a few years of use on it. I'm sure Leatherman would honor their warranty, and they'd get me a new one, and yada, 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 or not a new one, but they'd fix the blades, and yada, yada, yada. I'd rather just have a new product, and now I can keep this with, like, the stuff I use for security work, so I think I'm going to throw this in the vest that I use for security work. So that's multi-tools for police and security work, just kind of a little primer on it, some things to think about. I know 1,000 companies make multi-tools, and they all have their different pluses and minuses, and to someone who has never used one before, it could be difficult to pick one. Lots of guys get into police work and they say, oh, I'm going to get a multi-tool, and they just go pick whatever their friends tell them is good. I know now there's another metric to this, and I'm not totally up on it. One friend of mine has a Leatherman that has an out the front, I think it's called the OHT. It's an out the front opener like the Gerber, but the blades are on the outside. like the Leatherman Wave and Leatherman Surge series. I have played with it a little bit, and it does seem to solve all of those problems in one, except that the blades are a little smaller, and so is the multi-tool. There's always something that you give up when you get those types of compromises. But these are the things to think about, and hopefully that helps somebody that's new to police or security work or just new to multi-tools out with deciding which one is right for them. Until next week, you guys be safe and take care of each other. All right. I'm turning the fan back on. Hopefully I can use some of that. Let's see what people had to say. Data usage warning. I'm getting a data usage warning. Who'd have known? Guy that makes videos on the internet uses a lot of data. All right. Yo, hello, hey. Nice to see you guys. Greeting from Connecticut. Greetings from Illinois. What the hell are you doing awake from your favorite Instagram friend? Dude, I am on midnights. This is my day off. Nothing else to say about it. Drinking a lot of coffee, and so that's what I end up with. I'm awake, and I'm making videos. And I wasn't even planning on doing this one tonight, but I saw it on the list, and I was like, we'll give it a shot. I may have to redo it. I'm tired. When I look at the video, see how well it focuses in and stuff. In fact, I gotta shut my camera off here. When I see how well it focuses and stuff, I may have to burn this one and just do another one, but see how it goes. We're awesome. Thanks. Sup up, brother? Nah. Sup, my brother in blue? Not much, dude. Not much. Fix. Checking in. Just checking in? I can never tell. Sometimes you new kids, you young whippersnappers and your three-letter acronyms for things on the internet, you would not believe how long it took me to figure out that FTP meant fuck the police and start banning people. You have no idea. It took forever. Oh, multi-tools. People love them. I'm actually thinking about getting my son a bladeless multi-tool. Because he's 7 now, and it's time to start him in on knives. And my wife's like, hey, you're not getting a knife. I was like, fine, he's not getting a knife. I'm going to get a bladeless multi-tool. And he doesn't have a knife. All right, I'm sorry. I always forget. The camera's always in a different spot every time. So I forget you guys are down there. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at you. Hello, what a coup. Who is a coup? Cop. Who is a cop? Lots of people are. Gerber suspension. I've never used a Gerber suspension. I can't even visualize in my head what that is. It has been so long since I bought a multi-tool. The last one was the Wave, and that was a few years ago. Shout out, please. Shout out. That's all I got. Shadow Freddy. What do you do, Shadow Freddy? Why are we shouting you out? It's very good. I recommend him on Instagram. Yep. Well, hey, I'm glad you like it. I've got a couple thousand people following me on Instagram now. I try to, like, the Instagram Live is really cool. I like their setup for live feeds, and it gives people a reason to follow me on multiple platforms. H, shout out please. I don't know what you're talking about. GN, all right, I got nothing. Hey, hi. Security from Canada. I can tell by your picture. It's very small, but it kind of looks like a dude doing security in Canada. I can see a little red dot on there. Leads me to believe it's something Canadian. Most places here don't use red in their emblems. I'm a cop from New Jersey. That's cool. Do you do videos on YouTube? If you do, send me a link. And it'll end up in my spam folder, and then I'll find it easier. Or shoot me an email. Show me what you're doing. He's recording, Fred. You're not going to get your shout out yet. Awesome. All right, here we go. Here's his. Shadow Freddy. I said your name now. Keys 1911, awesome. Glad you like it. What Leo department do you work at? For the 9 millionth time, I'm not going to tell anyone because lunatics will call my work and bother my boss. That's it. Work says, can't put where you work on there, and say that's fine. Whatever. We're very serious about it. People used to take pictures with the squad cars, and then they'd get in trouble for it because then they'd say something stupid on Facebook. And there'd be a picture of them next to a squad car and uniform on there. So to solve that problem, they said just don't put where you work on any of your social media accounts. And I said, all right, whatever. So I don't. It's their rules. They pay the bills. If they're paying the bill, they're paying for the garage. I'm not gonna break their rules. This is cool. Glad you like it. I think Chicago, Jermaine. I don't work for Chicago. And even if I did, I'd have to tell you I don't. We've gone over that one before, too. It's in the Chicagoland area. The south end of it. If you went on I-80 and you drove until you heard gunfire, if you got off, you'd probably find me. Bet you never thought you'd become a video production expert. I am far from a video production expert, I can tell you that much. I don't even have an external microphone. Like, I don't have a microphone clipped to me, or a headset, or a boom mic or anything. There's no boom mic or anything up there. There's just my rafters and the old boards. Why is his video facing his side? Because I'm streaming you live on my phone, homie. He's only 5'1". I am 5'2". Don't take that inch away from me. I need all the inches I can get. He said 5'2". That doesn't mean anything. Why is this video like this, though? Right, when you see this, hi from New Zealand. As a security guard, I'd found some good tidbits in a lot of your vids, so thanks. Hey, thank you. I'm glad I helped. I'm not an expert on policing or security work everywhere. I just do it in the area that I'm at. And if it helps you in New Zealand, you pick something up, that's great. I've picked things up from guys that work in the UK and France and Britain, and it's actually a lot of it's from YouTube. I can watch stuff that guys overseas are doing, and I like hearing their perspectives on it. I also really like picking their brains because I find that the way things are done in other countries is interesting. It gives me new ideas on how I can do things here. So ask me nothing if you know a martial art or some disciplined practice. Or you're really ridiculously strong. I'm literally as strong as a gorilla. Hopefully that holds out as I get older. Because he's streaming from his laptop. I'm streaming from my phone. I don't even own a laptop. That's how technology inept I am. That's right, Mark. Mark, just look at Patty Mayo's video. He's a small guy with a training experience. He knows how to take down some big dudes. Oh, whatever. So you know there's a chat here? I do know there's a chat here. I just wait till I'm done. Anyone have experience with an Uncle Mike's duty belt? I use an Uncle Mike's duty belt. The belt that you can see in my... I'm trying to remember to put up there. Is it up there? Or up there? Duty belt video is up there, and that's an Uncle Mike's. It just happens to be a basket weave, because that's what we use here. Yes, I'm busy filming. Hopefully he'll have time to chat when he finishes. I always try to. That's why I stream these. If I'm going to stream these on YouTube, I stream so I can talk to you guys. I always want to talk to everybody. That would be cool. Dude, what's up? Not a whole lot. Greetings from California. Greetings from Illinois. Greetings from the midnight shift in Massachusetts. This just happens to be my day off, man. I was working last night. If you follow me over on Instagram, you could have seen me last night working. Why do you drink so much coffee? I feel like I get too dependent on it. I get very dependent on it. That's part of the reason I'm so short. I drank coffee and slept in a small bed and smoked cigarettes when I was a kid. So, that's life. I'm heavily, heavily caffeine addicted. I'm not even going to try to lie about it. I watch a million multi-tool videos over and over and over again. I used to be big into them, and then, I don't know, I don't camp as much anymore, so my use of multi-tools is kind of going down. I carry them around now, and I use it mostly at work and when I'm camping. My everyday carry one I don't use a lot, so I don't know. I still carry it in the winter. Security guard from Maryland checking in here. Thanks for the awesome videos. Hey, thanks for staying up, even though I know you're working. You're probably watching this while you're at work. Thanks for the videos. Miami, Florida, future police officer or DHS employee transitioning from other agency, not law enforcement. Hey, good luck, man. Good luck on your journey there. It's always nice to hear from people who are trying to get into police work. I hope you're getting a little inspired. Are you reading comments from only Instagram? No, I only have one phone, so I'm definitely reading the comments from YouTube. The multi-tool that the pliers shoot out are great for fishing. They are, and that's kind of what... That's why I love them for camping and outdoor stuff, is because most of the time when I'm outdoors, like, I'll have my pocket knife right there, and I keep that pretty sharp when I'm camping. And I really need the pliers in a hurry. For fishing, I didn't even think about that, but that's true. How was your training experience for patrol? Did you ever get hazed? Not really. There's bosses that sometimes are a pain in the butt and they want to bother the new people, but I had good training officers who took care of me and made sure that they were a buffer between me and people that were going to be a problem. And so, never really had a problem. Getting hazed? I don't know, was getting taken out and getting really drunk? Is that hazing nowadays? I don't know. I never really got bothered like that. Of course, I was part of a lot of fraternal organizations before I was a cop,
And so when they're like, oh, you gotta put this bikini on and go to the bar, I'm like, no, I think I'll just stay home with my girlfriend. I appreciate. Security guard from Iowa, love the videos, man, keep it up. I'm glad you like them. Hey, man, what's up? Not a whole lot, that's why I'm making videos at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just got accepted into a police academy in Oregon, excited for the future, love the videos. I'm glad you like them, I'm glad they help. Have fun in the academy, because the real work starts when you get out of the academy. It'll be exciting, you'll love it. Keep up the good videos, brother. I will until work tells me that I can't anymore. That's always been my promise to everybody. When work says you can't do this shit anymore, then I got to give it up. Hey, FFT, I have always wondered how long does it generally take for new officers to get into the cop mindset in FTO to the point where the officer safety and tactic responses are second nature? I don't think it... New guys aren't going to get that in FTO. Where I'm at, we're pretty busy, and so learning is a slow process. I like to say you see the spark, and that comes at different times for everybody. Like, I've had guys that... I had one guy that was... He was military intelligence before he was a cop, and he got it almost instantly, but he was a legacy. Like, his dad and his uncle and all that were in it, and, like, first few days, he started getting the lay of the land, and he was good. Like, he understood what was going on. And I've had other people that, you know, they'll be, like, coming back to me for final phase, and they'll be like, I don't know about you. What's going on? I'm seeing this happen and this happening. You need to relax. And I found that if you just stop screaming at them for 20 minutes and encourage them to do stuff instead of getting on them about the stuff they're doing wrong, sometimes I'll do what's called a NED day, non-evaluation day. And if I give someone a non-evaluation day, I tell them, I'm not evaluating you today. We're going to document training, but I'm not evaluating you. You're not going to get docked or, you know, numbers taken off, or you're not going to be marked not responding to training or meeting standards no today. People tend to relax a little bit more, and they tend to get it faster, and I found that helps. But it's very different for all people. Or how long is it going to take for somebody to get it and for their officer safety stuff to be on point without them thinking about it? It takes different times for different people. I found that guys that were blue-collar workers before or were in military professions tend to get it pretty fast, and guys that were in college before and have no prior experience of any kind sometimes get it fast and sometimes take a long time. Sometimes it takes down to the last couple of weeks of training, and you're like, you don't see that spark yet where they're understanding, and sometimes they get it right away. I love seeing that spark in people's eyes, though. When you go to a call and something happens, they're like, no, we're not doing that. That's not happening. No. And I'm like, yeah, they get it. They finally understand what's going on. But it takes different times for everybody. Any advice for those who failed the field training? Well, here's the thing about field training programs is there's 3 basic different types that are used out there. This could be a whole separate video. There is the San Jose model, which is the one that has, you'll know if you were in that because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The evaluation sheet has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be 1 through 10. It'll be an arbitrary number system. And then there's the PTO model, which is where you like set goals as a group and stuff like that. I don't know. I was never trained in PTO. I was trained in San Jose and Sokolov, or the coaching model, in case Coach Salk watches these videos at some point. Sorry, it's the coaching model, not the Sokolov model. He hates when people use his name in it. But the Sokolov model is a little harder to explain why you failed at going to the same type of agency. The San Jose model is very arbitrary in its grading, and people could fail because a bunch of guys got together and decided they just didn't like them. So the PTO model I don't have a lot of experience with, but different agencies can mean different things too, right? So if you go to a place that's very, very busy, right, and you're going to a place, where you're going to have your pistol out a couple times a week, 2, 3 times a week, you're on afternoons and it's unusual to not be chasing somebody or doing something dangerous or, pointing your gun at somebody, then not making it there through field training might mean that you just don't have the chops to do it and make your way there. And you might go to a very nice agency that's worried about your P's and Q's and how good you look and how well you talk to people in day-to-day interactions and how warm and fuzzy you make everybody feel, and you might do great there. And you might go to a place that is like very high-end security, and I know people are going to get offended by this, but like, because they did on other videos, like federal policing, federal police officer jobs, right? So the guys that their basic job is protecting a building, they're doing security. A lot of VA sites, it's like that. Some VA sites, they have housing and stuff. Other VA sites, you're literally watching a parking lot. So you could be the police and you're doing very high-end security, and that's an entirely different type of job that you might be better at, right? And you might go to, you know, the FBI police where you're guarding a building, and you might not be any good at that at all because you're not good at, you know, whatever it is that they're doing. Driving around parking lots and checking the parking lot 6 times an hour and stuff like that. And you might come to a place like where I'm at, where we're very busy and pointing guns at people and using tasers and stuff, going to shootings and homicides and stuff on a, you know, weekly basis or daily basis, and you might be very good at that. So you kind of have to find the agency that's going to work for you. So if you fail out of training, then my suggestion would be to try an entirely different type of police work. Is it tough for you to change shift from nights to days? It's worse coming, we used to double back, we would rotate backward every month, and we would have to double back in, so I'd have to go from days to midnights, which is atrocious. Like you work day shifts 7 to 3, and then go home for 8 hours and come back for 11 to 7. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Guten Tag from Germany. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the videos. Some of your videos really help keeping a level head when us Leos get tore down from the stress of our job, the job brings. Thanks again from Leo in the Missouri 10A community. Thank you for watching, brother. I'm glad it helps. I took a course in verbal judo. It was amazing. I took out 10 guys and saved the planet using 2 very well grammatically correct sentences. No guns or handheld weapons for me. I would love to do a video on verbal judo because I think verbal judo gets a lot of credit, like he's making fun of. It gets a lot of credit for doing stuff that it just doesn't do, and it also gets a lot of shit, like he's showing, for not doing anything. And I think the truth is that verbal judo is a good starting point for learning about how to talk to people on the job. The problem is that it's just a starting point. Taking that verbal judo class is the starting point of learning to talk to people articulately. It's definitely not the ending point. Hold on a second. The shaky camera thing is driving me nuts. That's a little better. Watching at 3 a.m. in Michigan, was going to go to sleep but saw your streaming. I'm a police explorer hoping to become a state trooper here. Hey, good luck. There's a lot of weird stuff about Michigan. The police work. I guess you can send yourself to the academy and stuff there. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I've known a couple guys that were cops in Michigan, and they tried to explain it to me. I was like, okay. I don't know. We don't do most of that stuff here with the getting jobs in Michigan. The Michigan State Police, the Michigan State Troopers, do not want to run from them. They will pit you in a school zone with children present. You do not take motor vehicle pursuits lightly. Awesome. He does respond. Exclamation point. Just want to let you know that your videos are very helpful, but you never answer my question on your Taser Pulse video. Would you recommend the Pulse for security work? If you have the requisite training, and that's the problem with security work, is that sometimes it's very hard to get the necessary training in order to be covered with liability. And I would also, if you're working private security for a company, I would want there to be a policy in place that regulates how you use that taser. I'm not sure if the one video came out yet with Randy and I talking about bad security companies and their policies with gear that they issue you and inadequate training, but you want to make sure that if you're running a security company, you can't have a negligent entrustment issue where you give somebody a tool and you don't give them the training to use it. But also at the opposite end, you don't want to introduce a tool that you are not properly trained to use into the job, especially on your own. Because if you go and buy a Taser Pulse and just start carrying it for work and you haven't been trained in how to use it, you just kind of like read the manual like everybody else, even if that's completely legal for everyone else, like for your average everyday Joe walking down the street that isn't backed by a company or an agency or anything like that, even if that's all right for him to do, the liability for you doing it
working security is going to be a lot higher, and also your probability of having to use it is a lot higher. So you should take that into consideration. You don't want to be the guy that does something that then allows the company to cut the string on you. Remember, if you're following company policy, anywhere that I'm aware of, if you're following company or agency policy, you're indemnified in your actions as long as they meet that policy. So be careful about introducing it. Now, if your agency or company does allow you to provide your own taser and you are going to buy one to use, I know that the Taser C2 has had problems with the switch and accidental activations, and I know it's had problems with the batteries discharging before they're supposed to. So I would try the Pulse. I still haven't found one. Like, gun shops around here used to carry tasers, and I haven't found one for sale. I was going to try to buy one for my wife to keep her around the house, but I haven't found one, and so I can't give an opinion on it. I know that the Taser X26C, the prices on those are starting to go down, and I use the Taser X26, the standard X26, which is the same thing, but with different electronics that record when the taser is discharged and stuff like that, the temperature and humidity and all the crazy stuff Taser does for analytical purposes. I've used the X26 version, the same version of that, so I'd highly suggest the X26C for security work if you're allowed to use it and if it is going to be a good idea for you in your state to use it. Some states, like here in Illinois, a taser is a firearm, and so there's a lot of litigation and a lot of training requirements and a private security company using them. Thanks for the info. Stay safe out there. Thank you, Mark. Hey, enjoy watching your videos. What's the biggest thing you enjoy about your job? Other than the donuts and the coffee, I don't know. I think the biggest thing that I enjoy about my job is being able to go out and interact with people. And, I don't know. I like talking to people. I like talking to people when I'm not on calls and having the ability to, I mean, as far as a fun thing, like when you're a cop, people just let you walk wherever you want, which is nice. Right? Like I go to the mall and I can like walk through the back of the mall. I go to a construction site and just walk out of the construction site and be like, hey, is something wrong? No, man, I'm just looking around. It's really interesting. Is that the new bulldozer from Case? They're like, yeah, it is. It's got the hydrostatic transmission. You don't have to switch gears between them. Like, you just strike up conversations with people. It's really fun. I don't know, not everybody is an extrovert like me, but I enjoy it. I also enjoy making jokes on calls. You're awesome. Thank you, Charlie. What's up, man? Not a whole lot, Lando. That's why I'm doing this at now 2:15 in the morning. Great work with the vids. So thorough. I'm going to be shipped out to the Navy soon. Can't wait to get back and pursue the police field. You're awesome, sir. Thank you, Kenny. You have fun in the Navy? I'm actually kind of jealous. I was never able to join the military, which kind of sucked, but I found myself in a good career. I'm sorry my English isn't that great. That's right, neither's mine. I'm on hour 6 of a 23-hour shift working a federal contract. Awesome! 23-hour shift. Are you guarding a nuclear silo? FPS Furniture Police. Furniture Police Service, that's what it means, right? Yeah. What's your opinion on K-Bar TDI fixed blade defense knives? Would you carry one? Didn't I do something on that? I thought I did. With the like dagger and stuff, right? Didn't I do? I thought I did one on the Benchmade dagger. I have a little Benchmade dagger. I use it for SWAT for a while because it's lighter than carry a full fixed blade knife. But I don't carry them for work. I don't really find the need. I carry a 357 J-frame, a little Seminoles revolver as my backup gun. So it's never really been an issue. I don't need a dagger when I carry this around everywhere. You know what I mean? That's makes a hell of a push dagger. I used to carry a push dagger until work told me I couldn't carry it anymore, so I stopped carrying it. I'm like, they're the ones that pay the bills. Greetings from Denmark. Hello from Brazil. Brazil. There's a lot of like, I didn't know that there were a lot of people that were into guns in Brazil until I started this Instagram stuff that I was never into until I was doing with the channel. And there's a lot of people in Brazil that are into cool guns. I'm also kind of jealous with the 380 Glocks, only because I can't have them here. If we could have them here, I probably wouldn't buy one, but now I want one because I can't have one. What do you think about how BOP deals with crime like
more force and less talk. I don't know anybody who's on BOPE, and I don't know the issues that they have in their area, right? Like, my understanding is the area that BOPE is patrolling with FNFALs in full kit is pretty rough, and that people just kind of randomly shoot at them. And if I was patrolling in Brazil in a neighborhood where people were firing machine guns at me, I probably wouldn't be talking a lot either. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough to get into the political issue, but I can tell you I've seen pictures of BOPE. People that don't know, BOPE is like their roving SWAT teams in Brazil, and I wouldn't be carrying that much shit unless there was a good reason to carry that much shit. So I can only assume they have a good reason. And that good reason probably also means a little, significantly less talking about stuff. Working unarmed in high crime areas is a great way to learn how to talk people down. You know, that's kind of been my experience with the security guards that work in the area that I work. That's how I ended up being friends with Randy Husher from this whole series of videos that I did. It was all one interview, but we had to cut him up because the guy talks too much. He learned how to talk the hard way. Like we said in those videos, like, you get into fights all the time, you're in a very short career, you have to learn to talk to people. And that is an excellent way to learn how to talk to people. Being an unarmed security guard in a terrible neighborhood is the equivalent of like learning how to shoot a handgun with a double action revolver. You're gonna get good. You're gonna get good at shooting handguns real fast if you shoot a double action revolver all the time. And you're gonna get really good at talking to people if you're an unarmed security guard. Good morning from Maryland, former Cot Monkey EMS. Love your vids. Stay safe out there. I always preferred Hose Dragger, but maybe that's because our paramedics and our firemen all work on the same team. But hey, glad you like the videos. Greetings from GI. Stay safe out there, my brother. You do the same. Why would you need to have your boss's permission to do these videos? Here's the thing about that. I don't have rights, right? And this is one that I probably should do a separate video about, but like, cops don't have rights. These people that are like, badges don't grant extra rights. Yeah, they don't. They don't. In fact, they take them away, right? I can't, if I got on here and started saying dumb shit, I'd get fired. And I couldn't argue with them about it, right? Like, if I say something that would bring discredit to my agency, I could get fired for it. So if they tell me you're not doing videos anymore, or we're going to fire you, then I'm not doing videos anymore. And, I mean, could I fight that in court? Yeah, maybe I could fight that in court. If it was for some, like, political reason, you know, they didn't like what I was saying politically. I was like, well, I have the ability, as free speech, to say whatever I want, but, like, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is reasonableness, right? But it's a respect thing, right? Like, my boss pays the bills. You know, the boss, through the town, through the mayor, pays for my house and my car and the ability to have a couple kids and to buy cameras and do goofy YouTube videos. So if they tell me that I can't do them anymore, then I can't do them anymore. That's reality being an adult. I mean, I can see from your profile picture you're probably an adult, but like, think about it. If you owned a business and one of your employees had a YouTube channel talking about the business that you did, and they started saying stuff that you didn't like about the industry, would you not tell them they had to stop, or you'd fire them? You know, would you have to employ someone who was saying things negative about your business? I don't think so. I don't think that's how you would see it if you were the boss. It's a respect thing. And mainly, for me, it's a respect thing. They've never given me any crap about doing it. In fact, my boss, the guy that's in charge of field training, I would love to have him on, but I doubt that'll happen. The guy that's in charge of me for field training, he watches almost everything that I make. I'd be surprised if he made it 45 minutes through this one, but he watches almost everything I make because he comments on it to me when I'm at work. Beast Law on TV. Yes, how the Michigan Academy work is pretty different from other states. We don't need to land a job under the academy. That's what I've heard. I have no experience in that. Sounds cool. Be able to send yourself to the academy. You have to be sponsored by somebody here in Illinois. Super 12 Man 1981 says, thanks, that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to buy one taser until I'm required to. If you need a pulse, look it up on Google. They have some for $300 right now. The problem with that is that in Illinois, I have to buy it from a dealer. It's considered a firearm. There's lots of legal mumbo jumbo. I mean, you saw that other video that I did about, like, you know, why cops don't know the law. There is so much, like it's just overlapping ridiculous laws here that I would want to buy it from a dealer on site. Like, I'm there, we're buying it, here's the paperwork we need to do, I'm going to take it home, I'll register it with Taser, and then that's the end of it. Right? I wouldn't want to deal with it. If you don't mind sharing, what shift do you work and what do you prefer? If you don't want to answer, I totally understand. I work rotating shifts. We rotate forward now. I work a 4 and 2 schedule, rotating forward every calendar month. So this month I'm on midnights, which is my preferred shift. Partially because it gives me time to do videos and stuff, partially because it allows me quiet time when people aren't screaming at me. Because when I'm on days, I get up in the morning and I go to work, and there's a dispatcher screaming at me, and then I go to a call, and there's a person screaming at me, and then I come back to work, the boss is screaming at me, and then I go back out, and there's a dispatcher screaming at me, go talk to somebody who's going to scream at me, and then I come home and my wife screams at me, and then when she's done, my kids scream at me that they want me to play with them, and then I scream at the kids that it's time to go to bed, and then we put them in the shower, and then they go to bed, and then I get like 2 hours to myself, and then I got to go to sleep, and I get up in the morning, and everybody starts screaming at me again. And then on afternoons, I get up in the morning, and the kids are screaming at me, and then the wife wakes up at like 11 a.m. and she starts screaming at me, and then I go to work and I get screamed at all day, and then I come home and I go to sleep. I wake up the next day and it starts with the kids screaming at me to wake up again in the morning. On midnights, I wake up. Everybody's happy to see me because they haven't seen me all day, and they know I've been in the room. It's been bothering them, so they don't scream at me. The wife normally needs something, so she's not screaming at me. She's like, could you please do blah, 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 but at least she's not screaming about it, right? And they go to work, and I get yelled at for like 4 or 5 hours, and then it starts calming down. Then I get like quiet time, and then I come home and I go to sleep, right? And then on my days off, since I'm awake at night, there's nobody here. Here, listen. No screaming. It's fantastic. I love midnights. Hey, Matthew says, hey, it's the tow truck driver from Connecticut. What's up, bro? I guess he knows the guy's channel. You can be a cop at 18 here depending on the agency. MSP requires you to be 21 by graduation. I agree with you. You say MSP doesn't mess around. That's what I like about him. Stay safe, man. Dude, I'd be very careful about getting a cop job at 18. I'm going to tell you, I don't know a lot of places that give you a cop job at 18. Like, actually give it to you. Like, the statute might say you can get it at 18. I don't know a lot of places that will actually hire you at 18. But I don't know any I've never met an 18-year-old that I would want coming to my house and, like, refereeing a fight between me and my wife. And I don't know a lot of 21-year-olds that I want to be cops. I mean, it's a rare 21-year-old that I look at and go, that person's responsible enough to dispense justice upon the public. A lot of places cap it at 23. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of places say you got to be 23 before we're even going to consider actually hiring you. They'll say, oh yeah, come apply, and then you got to be 23. They don't ever write it down. It's never in the rules, but it's like an unwritten rule in a lot of places. I think there's some wisdom to that. You want to get some life experience before you become a cop, because how are you going to tell other people how to live their life if you don't have any experience doing it? Alfonso says, I'm amazed at how well you manage your time. Wasting time now. MSP Academy is extremely militaristic. You can find videos on their channel where they show different legs of the academy. Yeah, I never get into yelling at people. I don't see the point in that. They do whatever they want to do, but I know they don't screw around, man. They don't screw around on the street. Hello from California. What on-duty handgun do you use on patrol for policing? I use a Glock 35. It's a 40 caliber Glock handgun. Holds 15 rounds plus one in the pipe. I carry 3 spare mags, and I'm currently using Remington Golden Saber, non-bonded Remington Golden Saber ammunition. We're supposed to be changing to a bonded round. After we change to the bonded rounds, I might change caliber, because I can use 940 and 45 of almost any handgun that I would want to use. The Glock 35 just happens to be the good balance between the ability to disassemble it and clean it on my lunch break, which is important when you work in an area that has like snowmageddon every few years where you're under 2 feet of snow, and it's pretty good power and pretty good capacity, and it gets through intermediate barriers, and it also stops before it flies through 6 houses and stuff. So that's what I'm using now. It's mainly because of ammunition. I've got a video on that. Put it up there if I remember later, but it's Why Cops Use 40. And the Glock 35 I have because I had to buy a new gun. I used to have a Glock 22. I got the 35 because it's an inch longer, and who couldn't use an extra inch? I like the Glock 35. It's also got a better trigger. A little more accurate. Or a little easier to be accurate with. Do you watch police procedurals? If so, which ones do you like the best? Police procedurals? You mean like police TV shows? I don't watch any of them. Except Reno 911 and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Pretty much the police shows that I watch are limited to comedies. I've noticed that in the U.S., vans are not used as much as here in Germany. Why is that? Because vans roll over. Honestly, it's because they roll over. We'd roll them over. You'd be amazed how terrible drivers cops are in the U.S. Not even gonna lie. We'd roll them over in no time. We have vans. We use them for prisoner transport. Big agencies will have what we call here a paddy wagon, a prisoner transport van. But they don't patrol with them. That's something that you go get if you need it and bring it to a scene. Very large agencies will have people permanently assigned to their prisoner transport van. Chicago, New York, places like that will have like what they'll call a meat wagon rolling around. And there'll be prisoner transports, and sometimes there'll be the people that take guys to the morgue. But, yeah, we don't use vans a lot. And the guys that are assigned to the meat wagon, normally the one driving it is somebody that's a little older and a little more experienced, so they don't roll the thing over. Do you ever get an altercation off duty since you've been a peace officer? An altercation? Not really. I try to avoid shit. I get in enough crap at work. I can't remember the last time I like a physical fight with somebody off duty. Working security at a place I've gotten into fights with people off duty, but it drives my wife nuts because somebody will say something and be like, yeah, whatever, we're leaving. You're like, aren't you gonna kick his ass? No. No, I do that at work. I'm good. He can yell at me all he wants. Sticks and stones. He's got one of those competition length clocks. I don't know what round. I wish I had a competition length clock. Give me a 17L. Well, hey, the guy from Brazil. Hey, Pedro. Well, the 380 Glocks are now not imported anymore. We are in a Taurus monopoly. Brazilians are stuck with jamming Tauruses and CBCs made out of sand because they break all the time. Brazil. You know, the Beretta 92 version, like the Taurus version of the Beretta 92 is not terrible. The like full-size Taurus, like Taurus PT 24/7 or whatever it is, pass. Hard pass. I would contemplate if all I could use is a gun made in Brazil, I would probably take that Taurus PT 92, like the Taurus version of the Beretta 92, but not that Taurus 24/7 stuff. I see videos of people like dropping them and they go off. That's like some 1920 shit. Good morning from New Jersey. Good morning from Illinois. Hey Tommy, what do you think about police/sheriff agencies with dual trained paramedics? The county I live in trains combat medics and other paramedic deputies, which I think is pretty badass. It can be good, it can be bad. I give you both sides of it. I got a guy that I work with who's a paramedic, and it's great having him around, because if I get hurt or somebody else gets hurt, there's a paramedic already there, he knows what he's doing. The downside of it is liability-wise for the agency and for you individually. You have to make that decision. On this call, am I a cop or am I a paramedic? Right? And as a cop who's not an EMT or a paramedic, it's a lot easier to make that decision, right? Like, the primary job when I come on scene is to be a cop. If you're an EMT or a paramedic, you're not covered under Good Samaritan laws. So if you're there and you say, well, I'm a cop, and then the guy bleeds out, family can come back and sue you. Successfully? I don't know if successfully, but there is legal liability there as well. So you have to make sure you have good policy in place, agencies are going to do that, to say what their primary responsibility is and where you're going to draw that line, so that you can point back to it and be like, hey, my agency said yada, 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 and that indemnifies me from the lawsuit because yada, 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 yada. Because that's how indemnity works. You have to be following your policy. 511 Tactical is nationwide, right? I think they ship worldwide. They don't ship worldwide? I thought that was everywhere. I can't open up Facebook without getting an ad from 511 Tactical, so I'm actually interested in the medic issue as well. I'm going to be an EMTB this fall for the Academy in January. Oh, there it is. You want to make sure your agency has a policy in place about when you're to do medic stuff and when you're to do police stuff, where that line is. If they've got a good policy in place for that line, then you're set. Because it is awesome to have paramedics, especially paramedics, guys that know what they're doing, have worked on a bus, out with you in case you get hurt. Good morning. I'm a Marine vet in school working to join a PD once I graduate with a BS. How far out from graduation should I start contacting agencies? What are good states to begin a career? Thanks. Take it one at a time. If you're a Marine veteran and you're going to school to get your Bachelor of Science, then you're probably old enough to start applying to agencies now. The question is it a problem for you that you don't have a job right now? If you're set up good, you're living at home, and you got student loans and your money situation's fine, then you can wait until your junior year of college and start applying to places. Get on lists so that way by the time you get out, maybe you'll have a job lined up. If money is an issue, you could probably start applying now, because if you were an active duty Marine and you're in school now, there are plenty of places that will hire you right now as long as you're over 21. So it depends on your money situation. Connecticut doesn't allow the X26 or X26C. They don't allow stun guns at all, but yet I can have a firearm. Doesn't make much sense for me. I mean, I have a permit, but I would like a non-lethal route as well. Illinois does not allow concealed carry of tasers, but they let people get a permit to carry handguns. Who knows what goes through legislators' minds? I don't. That's the thing. You are responsible, credit to your profession. That's why I didn't get why they would object. It's not like you're drunk or disparaging anyone. Yeah, but you know what? That's what I'm saying. You never know. Like, the chief I had before and the chief I have now don't have a problem with it. The next chief might be like, you do, and then I gotta get rid of it. What are you gonna do? I'm realistic about it. The guy I have now is cool, so I'm gonna do him as long as I can. My uncle is working tonight. He's a tribal police officer. He got me onto your videos. Hey, nice to hear it, Kenny. Good to have you. I got a huge backlog of videos. Feel free to go watch all of them. Binge episodes. Like watching Game of Thrones back from first season all the way through to catch up. Go catch up. Start with the first one. Note-taking. Start watching the note-taking video. Actually, I can agree with the age idea. I was 20 when I started working in correction. Was not ready. I'm telling you, I heard that from a lot of guys who started young. Does being a helicopter pilot help at all with getting a job in addition to a degree and prior military service? I can't see how it would. I mean, I know some agencies have air divisions, like they have helicopters. I know Chicago and Cook County share a single helicopter, and they have like 5 or 6 pilots that fly that single helicopter, and that's it. Out of, I don't know how many guys are in both of those agencies, but I mean, unless they're looking for a helicopter pilot, I don't think it would help. I know there's jobs for helicopter pilots in the feds. So if you're a helicopter pilot already and you're looking for a job as a cop, you may want to go federal. I know Border Patrol has a lot of helicopter pilots, especially if you were a helicopter pilot in the military. Punch your own ticket there. Greetings from Securitas, Sweden. Greetings. I also agree with not going in young. I also went in at 20. I was also not ready at all. I'm telling you. I don't know what I'm going to do. My dad got an LE when he was in his late 20s. You do whatever you want. You're a young guy, right? If you're not 20 yet, you're a young guy. Don't sweat it. Be your own man. Dude, be a tow truck driver. Be a taxi driver if you want. Chop down trees for a living if you want. But whatever you do, be the best at it and make enough money to pay your bills. There's no shame in any job that pays the bills. Don't feel like you have to go into the family profession. I didn't. My grandfather was a machinist, and my dad's a mechanic, and I'm a cop. Did you do a video talking about the structured interview, please? Miami, Florida, dude. I'll think about that. It's been a long time since I interviewed. Gary, don't go into LA because someone else did. Make sure your heart isn't in something you want to do. Hey, look at that. Everybody, like, you're getting other guys that agree. Brand 5 Left and Tactical can be bought all over the world. That's what I thought. Our country only has about 3 deputy medics on duty at any given time. They hardly do any policing. I've only seen them doing traffic once. Sounds like a good gig. PT 92 made before 2000 are the good. The 1990s were the Taurus golden years. They had good administration, quality control, and reason to produce good guns because there was exterior competition. I could see that. I've also heard that all their tooling came from what Beretta owned the factory to get the contract with the Brazilian military. And so their tooling might be getting old. They might be buying inferior tooling. Has anyone ever disputed a speeding ticket you issued and won? A speeding ticket I issued? Oh, you just. I think I've written like 3 speeding tickets in 11 years. I think 3. It might have been 3. I don't think any of them made it to court. I don't think any of them made it to trial. They were all attached to, I think one guy I wrote a ticket, just paid it, and then the other 2, they were attached to felony cases or DUIs. It's not because it's so hard to win speeding tickets where I'm working. It's because I don't issue them. I don't have a radar gun in my car. So I'd have to pay somebody to issue them a speeding ticket. And that's a lot of work. And I got calls to go to. I get it, not trying to change what you're saying. I don't remember what we were talking about, so not angry. I know I want to do law enforcement, nothing else grabs my interest, and it's, oh, you were talking about why I would need permission from my boss. No, it's cool. I'm not angry about it. It's just, I don't know. That's the way I am. I don't like fighting with people. I fight with people for a living. I don't want to fight with my boss. I know I want to do law enforcement. Nothing else grabs my interest and attention like police work or any public safety profession. Then go for it, man, but do it because you love it. Yeah, I got their gloves. Got tired of cutting my hands at my boss tractors. Don't know what you're talking about, but awesome. When you apply for an agency and you find this department is not for you, would you just quit or resign, or how would that work? You just quit. It's nice to give 2 weeks notice, but if you're in training, you just go in and tell them. You're like, hey man, this isn't working out. The thing is, a lot of places have you sign a contract that say you're going to work so many years at their agency or you're going to owe them money for leaving. So keep that in mind. If you signed a contract saying you would stay for 3 years, you may owe them several $1,000s to quit. I think agents should have more police cadets or police service aides. That way they can be more prepared once they enter the academy or become an officer. I think so too. Cadet programs are good programs. We're just starting dealing with one now. I don't have a lot of experience with them, but from what I've seen, you know, they seem like they help people out that are trying to get into the profession. You'd resign if you weren't an ass. Whatever. Brazilian federal police are in search of heli pilots. I just know what's their policy on foreigners. Hey, there you go. Try that. Do you like girls with nice tans and round asses? Go apply to be a Brazilian helicopter pilot. Sounds like a good gig. Is your station really busy and always chasing the box without having time for OBS arrest? OBS arrest. If what you're asking is, do I have a whole lot of time to go around and pull people over and work up cases? No, I don't. Seasonally. In the wintertime, there's a little more time to go trying to find a case. But right now, no. Lucky I have time to breathe at work right now. Does the U.S. have any areas like Molenbeek? If you don't know, the Molenbeek is a lovely place in Belgium that has harbored a terrorist, stabbed a cop, and attached a few others. Awesome place, I know. Have you heard of the south side of Chicago? Google it. We don't have terrorists here because the people in the neighborhood would kill them. Actually, on the south side of Chicago, many people have been arrested for harboring terrorists and stuff like that. It's not heavily advertised, but you do hear about it. But I mean, it's rough. It's rough. It's a rough area down here. I haven't heard of someone just quitting. Doesn't really make sense. I've heard of people just quitting. I've had guys quit. I've had guys just be like, this isn't for me. And I'm like, that's cool. You're not going to offend me. I'm not the one paying the bills. Or the aforementioned attackers face little punishment. I don't know. Oh, in Belgium that has harbored a terrorist, stabbed a cop, and attacked a few others. Awesome place. They face little punishment. I think you'd probably get punished in the U.S. So one of the things we take seriously is people killing people. Stuff seems to be a quality currently used in the Rush Moab 10 daily. Well, if we're going to talk backpacks, dude, you could try, what's it called? What's the one I have, the sling bag I have? It's from Maxpedition. Maxpedition makes kick-ass backpacks. Not sure if you agree, but in my humble opinion, a good start to becoming a Leo is starting as a security guard. Teaches you communication and other useful skills. Depending on where you're going to start as a security guard. That's the reality of it. If you're going to start with a good company, with good management, it's going to teach you stuff. Starting as a security guard can be very good. A lot of security jobs are not like that. Molenbeek, never heard of it. I'm sure every other larger city has similar instances at different points. New York's had them for sure. It's that whole plane into buildings thing. Still sounds like it has its ups, but I can't handle the doors. No one can. At least you guys are getting along. Where I live, there is a police club in high school. Would you think about doing something like that? Well, I don't know. I'm a little too old for that now. I used to be in venturing, which is like exploring, which is what John here is saying. I'm a little old for that now. My kid's going to be in Cub Scouts soon, so I'm not joining venturing. You ever consider transferring over to any other agency, particularly the big three, NYPD, LAPD, LASD? No. No, if I wanted to go to a large agency, I could just work for Chicago proper. Right? They're a big agency. They got lots of work. And the only real reason to switch to one of the largest agencies like LAPD or NYPD would be for like the prestige of it, and I don't care. I just don't care. Like, I'm gonna go down to Georgia in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna tell people where I, get pulled over and tell somebody where I work, and they're gonna be like, "Huh? Here's my ID. You can Google it if you want." No, I don't care. And I just, it doesn't matter to me how big the place you work is. Greetings from Canada. I've made it pretty far through police competition, just waiting on the results of the psych exam. Any advice for upcoming polygraph background investigation stage? Polygraph, Google polygraph junk science. You're welcome. And for background investigation, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to pass or you're not. Nothing you can do about the background investigation, so don't sweat it. When a cop walks up to a car on a traffic stop, why do they touch the car? Because back in the day, they used to tell guys to touch the car. They tell them to like pull the trunk up so that no one could hop out of the trunk and attack you. And also, they would just touch the car so that you put your fingerprints on the car so they could identify that was the car that you stopped. There's been one reported case of that ever solving a crime, though. So I think it's just something that, it's like the old like pen in your pocket. So don't put a pen in your pocket because people could grab the pen, take it out, and stab you in the eye. And I hear that from people all the time. I'm like, when has this happened? I think a lot of stuff is just guys hear something when they're young and they just pass it on to the next generation without thinking about it or researching it at all. They just, if you repeat a lie enough, it just becomes truth in people's minds. I don't get it. So I think that's why the touch in the back of the car is stuck around. It's never really helped anybody. Have you ever dealt with suicidals? Yes. I have saved people who were suicidal. Here, you want to hear about use of force incidents? I have personally saved people who were suicidal because I tased them. Tell that to your state legislature doesn't want people to carry tasers in their state. I have been able to not shoot someone because I had a taser before. Doesn't work every time, but I have done it. Is that just on TV? Nope, it's real life. It just prints if it's involved later on with the incident. Yeah, we've been taught to do it. Yeah, George, I hope you're ready for the heat and humidity. I know, I'm going to a hot Atlanta. Ugh. It's like 95 degrees there now. Hey, I've reached the bottom. Usually around the trucker back, investigators might dust it. Yeah. We don't teach it here, so guys don't do it. They stopped teaching a while ago because it hasn't solved anything. Okay, got to go back on patrol. Be good, everyone. All right, John. I'll put your last name out there just in case. Don't tell your boss that you're watching my video for an hour when you're supposed to be working. All right. It's 2:44 in the morning, which means it's time for me to shower, climb into bed before my wife starts text messaging me, wondering where I'm at, thinking I'm at the bar. If you stream more often, we'll love it. I'm trying. I have a dumb question. Why do Amtrak, BNSF, UP, and other rail companies have full-on police departments? Sup, man? I have my background review today. Hey, good luck, Buff Dude, with the background review. I will cover this one question. Why do private companies have private police agencies? Amtrak isn't a private police agency. They're a public-private partnership. So they have a police department because they have really expensive stuff that they need protecting, and they have passengers that they need protecting. Other agencies have private police departments for a variety of reasons. Most of the time, they just act as security. When you see like BNSF and stuff, they have BNSF police, CSX police, Indiana Harbor Belt, stuff like that. They have private police agencies because they're allowed to by federal law. Most of the time, they act as security. Most private police officers who work for railroads will tell you it is like the greatest gig security job ever. They very rarely act as police, but because they are police, if something major was to happen with the railroads, they're covered under police law. So their use of force would be governed under the laws for police officers. So if you had a terrorist incident having to do with the trains, or if someone was breaking into a train trying to steal cargo, a lot of guns are shipped by train, a lot of hazardous materials are shipped by train. So police agencies having, or railroad companies having police agencies does make a certain amount of sense. And most railroad companies keep their police agencies on such a short leash that you never even know they exist. When I talk about railroad agencies, a lot of people don't even know they exist. All right. Good night. Thank you for the info. Have a good night, brother. Time to get the refill on the iced coffee. Yeah. It's actually just water because I got to go to bed. But good night, gentlemen. Take it easy. We will see you come tomorrow. I'll be releasing another video. Have a good one.